Thank you to the Altman Foundation and the Horace W. Goldsmith Foundation for helping make their podcast possible.
Welcome to our show. Join our flow. It's the 52nd Street PROJcast.
From the heart of Hell's Kitchen, this is the PROJcast, a podcast created by the community at the 52nd Street Project. We are a nonprofit in New York City that partners kids in the Hell's Kitchen neighborhood with professional artists. I'm Garrett Kim, program director at the project, and we're starting up a brand new season of the PROJcast by highlighting one of our most popular programs, Playmaking. As some of you might know, Playmaking is the first program that every single youth member of the 52nd Street Project participates in. Over 8 weeks, a group of young people learn the fundamentals to writing plays, from characters to dialogue, from stage directions to setting, and all about want, conflict, and change, the heart of every play. If you'd like to know more about the playmaking process, be sure to check out the very first episode of the PROJcast, The Right Stuff. And if you're listening to this episode the week it comes out, then you're in luck. Our next playmaking shows are happening this weekend, March 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, right here in our very own Five Angels Theater. The show is called Out of the Blue, The Unpredictable Plays, and will feature 10 short musical plays that are wild, inventive, and bananas. First up, we have an interview between project member Karen and volunteer actor Greg Hildreth. Nowadays, Karen is a junior in high school, in her second year of our teen ensemble, and nearing the end of her time as a project member. But a little over 5 years ago, she was just starting out in playmaking, and one of her actors was Greg, who himself was new to the project at the time. Since his project debut in Karen's playmaking play, Greg has volunteered in a bunch of different project programs, and we're really excited to have him back in action at the project now that he's finished his run of Olaf in the original Broadway production of Frozen. You'll be able to catch Greg this weekend in Out of the Blue, The Unpredictable Plays at the project. But before the shows got underway, we wanted to put these former collaborators together in the same room to reminisce on working on Karen's playmaking play 5 years ago. Here's Karen and Greg.
Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Karen.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm Greg Hildreth. We were just revisiting a play that Karen wrote 5 years ago.
Yikes.
That I acted in. Do you want to talk about it?
Yes, it's called The Commotion. It's about an outlet who's an old man and a very new 21-year-old TV. And basically the whole plot is that the outlet needs the energy from the TV's plug. So he's trying to convince her to plug in there. And she's like, I don't know. And yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Do you want to talk about the quirk that the outlet has that prevents the TV from wanting to get too close?
Yes, of course. He's very old, so he has these uncontrollable farts. So that she doesn't like that very much. And they don't really get along at first, but, you know, in the end, everything works out.
Because I remember this was your first exposure to the project, right? This is the first thing you ever did here. Mm-hmm. And I think it was the first one that I ever did here too, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Which was kind of crazy. But I remember you being a really serious and quiet kid.
Yeah.
You were kind of like stone-faced. You've grown into a smilier person, I think.
Yeah.
But you were like a very serious kid. Do you remember feeling that way?
Yeah, it was the first thing I've done at the projects, and I remember all my friends, they had already done playmaking by the time I started, so I was very I don't really know what to expect, let me just stay back a little bit, so I was very that.
Mm-hmm. I also remember, because you wrote lyrics to 2 songs in the play.
Yeah.
And I remember I still talk about this because I thought it was very funny for someone who was like 10 or 11 to be like talking this way. I remember you saying, because there was a composer that set your words that you wrote to music.
Yeah.
And you talked to the director and you talked to the composer and I remember you saying, I don't want this to sound like musical theater that everybody hates. And you said, do you remember this?
Yeah.
You said you wanted it to sound like a Demi Lovato song. And I remember being nervous to sing because you hadn't heard the song yet, and then there was a day where you joined us in rehearsal,
Yeah.
and I sang the song for you, and I remember being really nervous because you were so particular about what you wanted the song to sound like, and I remember you as a 10-year-old or 11-year-old kid
Being like,
nodding. Yeah, you were kind of stone-faced, and then I sang a little bit, and you were like, "That's good."
okay.
And I remember like wiping sweat off my brow, being like, "Phew, she likes it."
That's so crazy because the first time I've seen a musical is probably that I remember is probably when I was like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
So the fact that I would say that and like it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But, hey.
But also I was just rereading the script again. It said right before the song, there's a stage direction in parentheses. You write. Can you find it? I want you to read it out loud. Right before the song starts, there's something that you wrote in parentheses.
I need your help, not cheesy.
Not cheesy. That's right. Yeah, you were like, I don't
Yeah.
want it to be like a cheesy. The song is described in the script as not cheesy. But that's kind of like prolific for a 10-year-old or 11-year-old to be, the fact that you had a specific idea in your head about how you wanted it to sound is pretty amazing.
I remember a lot about playmaking, and I know that I just didn't want it to be like, you need to help me, let's save the day, I remember being very particular about that, even though it kind of was like that, but I just didn't want it to be so like direct and open.
Yeah, you wanted it to be more like real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's like a plug and an outlet, so like how real can that be? But,
Right. No, but I think in my experiences, I've done a couple of the playmakings now, and I'm sure you've seen like a bunch too.
Yeah.
Like the more real I think an actor plays it, the better it is.
Yeah.
If like an actor's kind of like commenting on it or making it kind of goofy or
Then it's
cheesy,
just like-
yeah, you don't really buy it.
Yeah.
But I think when it's the most successful is when the actors are like treating the material like dead serious.
Yeah, like no matter what it is. You
Yeah.
know?
What else is coming up as you've read the play? What else are you remembering?
I remember writing the play and being in the Hamptons, and I was in a room with my director, and I just I think for 20 minutes I did not know what I was going to write about. I was like, because they had told us, you can't write about anything happening or you can't write something based off of something going on in the world or anything like that. In terms of after a game or a celebrity. So I was just I don't know what to write about. How am I supposed to come up with an idea? And I saw in the corner of a room an outlet, and that's where it started. So I don't know. It's just weird to think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That something could be born out of either uncertainty or just randomly picking something
Yeah.
and being okay, so one of the characters is an outlet.
Yeah. And naming it the commotion. I was like, I don't even know how I knew that word when I was 11, but
Yeah, the title of the play is The Commotion. Well, it's because they're these inanimate objects that are living in this human old man's
Yeah.
house. And they must have been making quite a commotion.
Probably.
Do you remember how you felt as a kid watching the play?
I remember looking more at the audience.
Yeah.
I think in the dress, I looked at the play because it was the first time I'd really seen it all together. But the days of the actual show, I looked more at the audience because I was just wait, what do they think about it? And the times where they really laughed, I was wait, this is funny. I was just so focused on them because I was wait, I need to know what people think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And my family too, because I'd never done anything in the arts, so I was ooh, how's this gonna go?
What did they think?
They loved it. I know the setting was in the Bronx, Southern Boulevard, and that's near my sister lives, so she was wait, what? And then just the farting, they were who is that based off of? And I'm oh, I don't know.
Just came up with it. Yeah, where did that come from?
My grandma farts a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
It was something at that time that you were old people fart.
Yeah. It was something I had seen.
Yeah.
And I remembered so vividly, so I was well, I have to include this here.
Do you want to talk about the different kinds of farts in the in the parentheses in the stage directions? It's really you were also very specific there about what.
Yeah, so in the beginning, he's more upset, so I specifically wrote that he farts very sadly. Sometimes it's just normal, like farts, but
Just a
then
regular fart. I see a farts angrily.
farts angrily, and then at the end, farts excitedly.
It's an amazing range of motion for his gas.
Yeah. And they played different sounds, like different types of farts, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, I remember the sound effects really taking your choices in the script really seriously.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Do you feel like looking back over the 5 years, how do you feel like the project has like affected you?
I think, well, from when I came here, when I first started here, I was definitely more reserved and like serious. And I think I've really grown to be comfortable here, and I consider this place almost like a second home for me. So in that sense, I'm really like open with everybody, and especially to like the younger kids. Since I kind of felt that way, I kind of feel the need to be like, hey, like it's okay here, like don't be nervous, because I know some kids might feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I think it was pretty mature for an 11-year-old, but I think I've matured more over the past couple of years.
Totally. I think this play is like pretty advanced for a 10-year-old or 11-year-old, right?
Yeah.
You know.
I'm kind of shocked that I wrote this. Like, thinking about this now, I was like, wow, this was your prime.
You peaked at 11
Yeah.
as a playwright? I don't think so. Do you have any questions for me?
What was your favorite thing about, like, the character, or like what you did as an actor in this play?
I remember it's kind of like what we were going back to what we were saying before, like treating the material really seriously. It's like as like an adult actor coming in, there's like an impulse to maybe like not take it so seriously because you're like, I don't know, a 10-year-old wrote this, an 11-year-old wrote this. But what the more I've done like playmaking and other programs here is like the more I realize like this is like a play about two people really, really needing each other. Like the stakes for the old man outlet, he also has a wife. Remember, his wife is attached to him and she's dying. They're both dying. Like it's life and death. Like he needs this TV to plug into him so that they can live. And, like what I like is it gives me a chance to, because all the time, when I'm acting outside of this building, there's a lot of things that I'm either auditioning for or participating in that I have to like take really, really seriously. And it's just another way for me to like exercise or like flex my muscle about taking material seriously. So I loved coming in and being like, okay, I'm an outlet. Great. Cool. All right. Great. I've got a wife. She's dying. Okay, great. Like taking all the circumstances and being like, I'm going to play this dead serious.
Yeah, I think you did great.
Thanks.
It was really crazy to see like what I wrote, like what I envisioned it looking like on stage versus what it looked like. It was just like a million times better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you mean? You want to say more about that?
Like, I think just acting also in plays here. I know that like sometimes you take your lines and you like say them differently, or you say them in a way that, not that you know that the audience will react, but just like will fit better with the audience, or just fit better. So just seeing you like take some lines, like say them this way, say them more comedically, more seriously, in a way that I didn't really think about it. Like I didn't think about the way that the lines were being said, or just how you were like acting it. I didn't really consider that. So when I saw that on stage, I was like, this is my play. But then it was just better than what I thought it would be.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember anything else? Anything else you want to talk about? Touch on?
I remember we get to take a prop from our play on Sunday, like when the show's over, and I was very adamant on taking that TV. I was like, you know what, like this will look perfect on top of my bed. I remember George was like, are you sure? Like it's a pretty big TV, like you can just take. And the only other props I had were the outlet and the head, and I was like, no, like I need the TV. And I got it, and I took it home, and it stayed above my bed for about like 8 months until I left for the one-on-ones trip in the summer, and my mother got rid of it.
Got rid of it. It was like hanging over your bed?
Yeah, so I would have like my TV in my room, and then I'd have one over my bed. And it would fall on occasion, but like I would always put it back up.
Yeah. And just to be clear, this was like kind of a person's costume, right? So it was like one of the characters played
Yeah.
a TV, and it was like a big widescreen TV that pretty much blocked the actor.
Yeah, it was like
It's a huge
big piece of wood, basically.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a really big prop to take home.
yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty good. I did one a couple of years ago, and one of the kids asked if he could take me home. I was in his play. He was like, "Can I take Greg home?" I was like, "You don't want that. Trust me." Really loud. I eat
Fart
a lot.
sometimes.
I fart sometimes. Yeah. Believe me, kid, you don't want that. Cool. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Cool.
I covered everything.
Great. I'm happy if you're happy.
Yeah, I'm good.
Great. Cool.
That was Karen and Greg Hildreth. And remember, you can catch Greg alongside 19 other amazingly talented volunteer actors this weekend in Out of the Blue. And now, without further ado, let's get to the interviews with our playwrights. Two of our newest project members, Antonella and Ayah, each sat down with our Director of Institutional Advancement, John Sheehy, to chat about their plays. First, we'll hear from Antonella and then Ayah. Take a listen.
What's your name?
My name is Antonella,
And how old are you?
10.
What's the title of your play?
The title of my play is not princess, I meant like abused child turned to princess.
And what is the abused child turned into a princess about?
It's about like this girl, Nikki. She gets abused a lot because she got stolen. She got kidnapped when she was a baby.
Oh.
And her mother is mean, so she's poor too, so she lives in like a broken cabin.
And what do you think is the most challenging thing about creating a play?
Most challenging thing that you have to create a play is like you have to make it like sense. You have to make it more sense and like try not to add lots of characters in your profile.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and also you have to take time.
You're right, it takes time to write a play. And you have to concentrate. What is your favorite thing about your play?
My favorite thing about my play is I got this banana.
You got a banana?
Yeah, inside play.
One of the characters is a banana.
Yes.
What's the banana's name?
Banana.
How did you think of the name Banana?
Yeah, because it's a banana.
I see. What are you looking forward to the most about the shows that are coming up?
I'm looking for the costumes that my actor's gonna wear. Like I hope like Nick will have like a dress and act like a girl.
That's right, because Nick is playing a girl.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing the abused child that turns into a princess.
Yes.
What do you want the audience to get from seeing your play?
I want the audience to get like something funny in my play.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like I'm not a more serious person. I like funny things, like memes, jokes.
Is there anything else that you want to say about the project or about playmaking?
I'm saying that kind of hard because, like I said, you had to make it more sense, like make it have common sense and like think what theme you want.
Yeah, that can be a challenge.
No.
Okay. And is there anything else you want to talk about today?
No.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you so much for coming in and talking to me, Antonella. What is your name?
My name is Ayah.
And how old are you?
10.
Well, my next question is, what is your new play about? So why don't you just give us a little taste about what... You don't have to say the whole thing, but just give us an idea about what it's about.
should I just like go all dramatic with it or just like this?
Why don't you tell me something mysterious about your play?
So you walk across the a person with a person with a person with no a person who a person no two people who are opposite meet up with each other. What will happen? Who will they come across, and what will they do to solve their problem? All featuring in Exception. Very dramatic. Yes.
That is very dramatic and an excellent commercial for your play.
Thank you.
What do you think is the most challenging thing about writing a play?
Probably the songs or characters, because like, actually no, not those, because if you think about all that, it's all coming back to like making a big idea, because like it's a little bit hard for me to explain, but like now I'm watching like so much stuff, I'm seeing, and then I just get all inspiration from that, and it's hard to make, and it's a little bit hard to make something new without going like, oh yeah, this seems like this and stuff like that. So I just had to go like try to be original, and I had to admit I went back to some sources in my mind to make that to make Exception.
Okay. What is your favorite thing about your play, Exception?
Exception, I think.
Dun, dun, dun.
My favorite part about Exception is how it's kind of like the lesson. I'm not gonna really spoil the lesson, but it does have a lesson in it, and I think it's a lesson that we should all keep in mind during the play. And maybe if you like challenges, you can if you come to watch the play, you can only find out the lesson. So come watch it. Okay, but maybe if you like challenges, you can just try to figure out. But I think it's a little bit obvious.
Nice. People are going to come to these shows, and you're going to see all of these shows coming up. What are you looking forward to the most about the production?
Well, one thing that I really like is when people start to get really creative. So even though we read our creative stuff, I want to see people. I want to see the people that I played with or like made plays with, like expand on what their idea is, and I'm really interesting to see the end result with the dramatic effects and all put into real life.
What do you want the audience to get from watching your play?
Well, like I said, the lesson.
There's a lesson, obviously, yes. We don't have to say necessarily what the lesson is unless you want to say what the lesson is.
No.
Okay.
Leave it for them to find out.
But that's what you most want the effect to be on the audience, is them understanding the lesson of your play.
Yeah, and also being a little bit inspired for probably some kids are going to be watching it. And when I watched the plays, I felt like, wow, those plays are amazing. When I grow up, I really want to go to the 52nd Street Project, so maybe other plays or in my plays can make other people or even adults and kids like want to go there and like do a part or a role in there.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that you would like to say about the 52nd Street Project or about playmaking?
That no matter how rough times can get, you can always learn from your bad experiences, even if they're like really bad. And you should always stay kind to other people, so that can go off to others, and then the world can be at least a little bit more kinder and nice.
That's fantastic. Great.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you would like to talk about today?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for more from the 52nd Street Project. Thank you, Ayah.
Thank you. Should I take off these headphones?
Yeah.
That was Ayah and Antonella chatting with the project's Director of Institutional Advancement, John Sheehy. So if you're curious to find out the ending to Antonella's Abused Child Turns to Princess, or Ayah's Exception, or if you want to find out more about the 8 plays written by the rest of the Playmaking class, grab your free tickets to Out of the Blue, the Unpredictable Plays. We have shows running all weekend, March 22nd through 24th. Friday and Saturday at 7:30, Saturday and Sunday at 3 p.m. You can reserve free tickets on our website at 52project.org. And now for the credits. The project members featured in this episode were Karen, Antonella, and Ayah. The adult volunteer in this episode was Greg Hildreth. The PROJcast theme song was created by Justin and his smart partner Eric March and performed by Marinda Anderson, Rebecca, and Nicole. The PROJcast logo was created by Iris Brown. Audio assistance from Jonathan Anderson, Avia Moan, and Brian Freeland. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search the 52nd Street Project and look for our logo with 5E and 2E. The 52nd Street Project is supported by public funds from the New York City's Department of Cultural Affairs and the New York State Council on the Arts. The 52nd Street Project is a nonprofit organization, and we're able to do what we do because of generous folks like you. Please go to our website, 52project.org/donate, to check out how you can support us. Every little bit helps. So one last reminder, we have Playmaking shows this weekend, March 22nd through 24th. And if you want even more project in your life, we have our stage combat presentation, Seeing Stars, on Friday, March 29th at 7:30 p.m. It'll feature new short scenes created by project members with support from adult volunteers. We've been participating in a workshop about safe stage violence led by project superstar Carrie Warren. Seeing Stars, the 2019 stage combat presentation, will be at our Five Angels Theater on, again, Friday, March 29th at 7:30. And you can get your tickets for free, as always, at 52project.org. Hope to see you there. And like I said at the beginning of the episode, we are back for a new season of the PROJcast, so keep your eyes on this feed. We'll be releasing new episodes every other week or so. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time on the PROJcast.
See you next month.
Wait,
Nothing rhymes with month. On the 52nd Street PROJcast.